Hare Krishna, and welcome everyone to our weekly Bhagavad Gita session. We are in the middle of systematic study of Bhagavad Gita, BGSSC, just systematic study course. Our objective is to learn Bhagavad Gita as it was taught by Lord Krishna to Arjuna and as it was understood by Arjuna himself. So, in a similar way, so we are going in detail, discussing various verses, their purports, their meanings, and we are chanting some of those verses and getting ourselves more acquainted with Bhagavad Gita knowledge. So, topic for today is tolerate. Why and how? At the very beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna gives this instruction to Arjuna, and he repeat this instruction throughout Bhagavad Gita that you will have to tolerate, you will have to maintain equanimity in the good and the bad times, happiness and distress. Very repeatedly, continuously, Krishna keep reminding Arjuna of this instruction. So it's a very important topic. It will be a kind of brief session because we don't want to mix it, we don't want this to be mixed with other things, hence we kept it as an exclusive topic. But this will give rise to a lot of question. This will give rise to a lot of question in terms of tolerate. Why should we tolerate? What is it exactly that we should tolerate and what we should not tolerate? In terms of life, our own lives, we all of us have different, going through different phases in our life, and we would have we would have faced ourselves a lot of atrocities from various sections, from various people would have done bad to us. Some of them might be current, even today they might be doing bad to us. They might be having animosity to against us, towards us, and with that they act for practically no reason, for no fault of yours. If they want to be your enemy, what is it that you can do? You can't. How can you? And they happen to be your loved ones or so-called loved ones, then how you can respond? So there could be a lot of questions in the relationship. How much should we tolerate? What we should not tolerate? So a lot of those questions can be there, and towards the end we can discuss all of those questions, and some of those could be of personal nature, and feel free to send those questions through WhatsApp messages, and I should be able to like take a look at it later, and then we can discuss, or I can respond to those questions as well. Tolerate, it's not something that we choose to do, we like to do. Given a choice, we should we feel like as if we should not tolerate. I should not be the one who should be tolerating, the others should tolerate. It's but it is forced upon us in often, most cases this is, we are forced to tolerate. But Krishna actually advises Arjuna to tolerate right at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. He says this is one virtue you should learn upfront you should learn, and it's going to be very useful to you. So let's see why he says like this. We're learning Bhagavad Gita for devotional transformation. No, we are helpless. We want to be like Arjuna. Nashto mohas nrutir labdva tvat prasadan maya achyuta sthitosmi gate sandeha karishya vachanam tava. We should be able to say this to Lord Krishna. Krishna, whatever you want me to do, I will do. And irrespective of what my personal preferences are, I will do your will. Whatever you want, I will do that. And that is the devotional transformation Lord Krishna is expecting to see in us as we are studying Bhagavad Gita. We are in the middle of Kurukshetra battlefield. Senayor Ubhayor Madhye Sthapayitva Rathottamam. That Ratha has been stopped, paused in between two armies, right in between two armies, right in front of Bhishma and Drona. And Arjuna and Krishna are having this beautiful conversation. Quick recap, first chapter, Arjun speak predominantly. Um, he speak after asking Krishna to drive chariot in between two armies, and then he speak and he speak and speak, and then come up with his own conclusions. He says, "I'm overwhelmed with compassion." I can't kill my relatives. I don't feel like killing my relatives, and they're all my friends and relatives and brothers and um, acquaintances, and I can't kill them just for getting a winning that small piece of land. For that land, I can't be killing my own family members. So overwhelmed with compassion, no enjoyment. After killing my own relatives and friends, how am I supposed to enjoy? Uh, After killing my relatives can be sinful also, because they are dependent on me for protection, and if I only go and kill them, I will be subjected to a lot of sinful reactions. So I don't want to fight. The men assembled in the battlefield, when they get killed, women and children get exposed to irreligiosity, and they can be exploited by some men. And from such exploitation, unwanted progeny may take birth, and that progeny will act in a very adharmic way. And what is adharma? Adharma is, he gives one example he gives of adharmic action is stopping the ritual of offering food and water for the benefit of the departed soul. That will be stopped by adharma. When the adharma will grow, that will be stopped. The people, adharma will go, means adharmic people will not feel like doing this one activity, and this such an important activity, but it will be stopped. And so this is how Arjuna is describing that, what's going to happen if he chooses to fight this war. It is going to lead to a lose-lose situation. Even if I win, I will lose, because I will lose all my loved ones. And if I lose, I will get killed in this battlefield. This is not trial of arm where I'm just trying to show how superior I am to others. This is final fatal battle, and nobody is going to spare me. And I'm also not expected to spare these people. I'm supposed to kill these people. If this war has to become decisive, I will actually have to kill all of them. So Arjuna is caught up in this lose-lose situation where you don't know whether Kula Dharma is superior or Kshatriya Dharma is superior. What I should do, what I should do. Indecision. In this lose-lose condition, he surrenders to Krishna. Says, Karpanya dosho bhatasva bhavaha pruchhami tvam dharma sammudha cheta. I'm asking you, uh, dharma sammudha cheta. I'm asking you about what is my duty, what should I do in bewildered state of mind. Arjuna is saying, Pruchhami tvam dharma sammudha cheta. This is the Bija Vakya, basis which the whole Bhagavad Gita was spoken later by Lord Krishna. So Arjuna is asking, what is my duty? What am I supposed to do? In bewildered state of mind. He's caught up in the bewildered state of mind. The problem for him to decide whether Kshatriya Dharma is superior or Kula Dharma is superior. Kshatriya Dharma required him to fight the war against Adharma. Kula Dharma, the same Kula Dharma would have required him to protect his family members, and obviously protect means does not, don't kill them. So if he were to follow Kula Dharma, he will have to give up Kshatriya Dharma. And if he were to accept Kshatriya Dharma, follow Kshatriya Dharma, then his Kula Dharma was coming in the way. So he was not able to decide. And then, as an instruction, beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna introduces Arjuna to the concept of soul. He reminds Arjuna that all these people, natvevaham jatu nasam natvam neme janadhipaha na chaivam na bhavishyamaha sarvem maya ataparam. That all these people always existed in past. They exist in their present bodies, and then they will continue to exist in some form and shape. So, and Sanatana, this is going to be their position forever. All these kings, all you, me, and all these kings, we existed in past, we exist today, and we will continue to exist in future. Indefinite future. Always we will continue to exist. Which body we will exist? into, that is unknown, that is not known, that is not visible to you today, but we will definitely certainly continue to exist. Now, if our body get destroyed, then what will continue? देहिनो देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहांतर प्राप्तिर धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति. This dehino is the possessor of the deha. That is the spiritual spark. That is real identification of who you are. That is your real identity. That who, which is like a spark, but which pervades in the entire body. Every nook and corner of the body is conscious because of the presence of that small spiritual spark called soul, Atma. And that who is currently possessing this deha will will exit and will possess another deha, will give up this deha when it becomes useless, just like you give up a shirt when it becomes useless. Or you give up one cloth, old and useless cloth you give up, and you accept another cloth. Uh, Similarly, soul will give up, throw away of this old and useless body when the right time will come, and will enter into another new body, which is again full of energy, full of um, which is full of energy and full of power. So it's will be youthful body. It will be a body. It will be that body with which the soul will be able to again continue his journey towards fulfilling his unfinished desires. And so that body, so getting a new body should be a matter of rejoice, not lamentation. Giving up old useless body and accepting new powerful body is a matter of celebration, no? And so you should not lament. So these people whom you see, they are not their real, they are not the body, but they are a spiritual spark. And as a spirit soul, they will never die because they have never taken birth, they will never die also. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्य शाश्वतोयम पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. So that will not get killed when the body will get killed. So very detailed discussions we've had in convincing ourselves that we are actually spirit souls. All 112, all of us are spiritual sparks. We are having our present body, but we are not our body. We are not our bodies. We have this body as a temporary dress. Just like I may be wearing a kurta now, a shirt and trouser tomorrow. Similarly, you're wearing your body right now, be it male body, be it female body, be it a good looking body, be it not so good looking body, be it a very intelligent body, be it not so intelligent body, be it very so be it old body or be it a young body, whatever the body currently we might be having is an outcome of our past karma. We none of us applied and got our particular body. We may be considering ourselves very intelligent, but we never ask for intelligence in our application. We may be very good looking, we may be taking proud or a lot of taking a lot of pride in our looks, that I look in this way, I look in that way. But none of us applied for good looks. We just happen to have got those. And so is the case with everything, every small talent, skill, and you know that we possess. We didn't really applied for any one of those. We just happen to have got those, and now we probably would have done our part of for harnessing or maintaining it, improving it, not wasting it, which is creditable. But essentially none of us really applied and got our bodies, current bodies. So whatever be it good, bad, ugly, whatever we may consider them to be. So a sober person, Krishna says, is not bewildered by such change. And you also, Arjuna, become sober, become knowledgeable. Knowledgeable persons are not bewildered. So, another beautiful verse, so this is the verse which we will focus upon today, is Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya Shitoshna Sukha Dukkha Agama Apaino Nitya Sam Stitikshasva Bharata. This verse we chanted in our previous session, and hence I'm not taking you through the chanting of this, but it's a beautiful verse to remember. It's a beautiful verse to always remember, and especially when we are going through the difficult phase in our life, this one verse can remind us of the fact that Krishna has spoken this right at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, that that you will have to tolerate. You'll have to learn to tolerate. Tolerance is one virtue you should learn right at the beginning of our life. So in the previous verse, Krishna has spoken that uh, everyone is spiritual spark. Everyone is spiritual spark, so there should be no lamentation, and no. Instead, you should rejoice that if they are giving up their current bodies, they will actually get better, good-looking, youthful bodies with which they will be able to do much more than what they can do today. So, where is the question of lamentation? And we discussed last time that we shouldn't really be applying the same logic to when our loved one, when our parents, our loved ones are leaving their body. It is a moment of rejoice, but it is a moment of examination also, because all those souls who are departing, they're giving up their bodies. We should do our best to give them Krishna's remembrance, so that ultimately they go back to Krishna. They get spiritual body and they go back to Krishna. If that does not happen, then whatever their unfinished business is, they will come back. They will be forced to accept a new body in the material world. That is not a very comfortable position to be in. After giving up one's human body, uh, one ideally should go back to Krishna in a spiritual body. If that were not to happen, then at least one should take birth in a devotee family, from where there will be opportunities available to perform bhakti right at the beginning, and you will get less distracted to the attraction temptations of this world, uh, so that you can finish your unfinished business and go back to Krishna in that lifetime. But when that was also, so this is where this is what the purpose of human life is all about. Not to no other purpose. There's no other purpose for us to take birth, become grow up, get educated, get degrees, get become famous for our intelligence, then become get married, produce children, grow
Shut the
old,
fuck up.
and eventually give up our body and come back, repeat this whole process again. It's a waste if
Shut
we
the fuck up, dumb bitch.
yeah, if we end up doing it like this, it's going to be a waste of time.
Shut up.
Yes, it's going to mute everyone. Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Okay, so I'm muted everyone. Hopefully when I
Shut the
will
fuck
ask
up.
you to unmute, then you can unmute. Okay, so let's do a deep dive in this that
Can't unmute me, bitch.
O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness
Shut
and
the fuck
distress
up.
and their disappearance in due course
Shut
are
up, you
like
Indian.
the
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, actually, this is not identifiable that who is speaking in between. So maybe that you can keep us all of us on mute, and whenever required, you can permit to unmute. Hare Krishna.
yes, Roger.
Shut the fuck up.
Yes, Sukanta Mohapatra.
No, it's okay. I've muted everyone. Roger, you can remove the person if you can identify somebody is speaking in between. It's a people sometimes join sessions like this because these are publicly distributed. They come and try to create disturbance. That's okay. So I've unmuted everyone. I muted everyone. Nobody will be able to unmute unless I ask you to. Son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception. O son of Bharata, one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. Rohan writes in the purport that in the proper discharge of duty, one has to learn to tolerate non-permanent appearances and disappearances of happiness and distress. According to Vedic injunction, Prabhupada give example of how we perform duties always consider without considering the climatic conditions. And Prabhupada give example that in the month of Magh, which is January, February, when weather is extremely cold, how because but despite of that, the Vedic injunction is that we should take bath early in the morning. Even during the month of Magh, everyone, all the spiritualists, religionists, all the people who follow dharma, religion strictly, they would wake up in the morning and take bath, even at many times even by the cold water. And we saw that during the Kumbh Mela, the Mahakumbh that we all witnessed. It was in the month of winter. There was heavy winter, and despite of all of that, we used to see every uh, time, any time of the day, people used to be in the river. They were taking bath, and crores and crores of people visited the dham, and they took bath respective of the time of the day without really looking at the time of the day. Even in early morning hours, people used to take bath in cold water, in cold Ganga water during that period. And it just so for many of us, this was a one-time event, but there are people who do it very regularly. And extreme cold conditions also, they visit Ganga, they take their bath every day, and as if so 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 if it is a if doing duty is considered to be more important than the weather. The weather will be sometimes pleasant, sometimes unpleasant, but irrespective of that, the duties were performed, and we see practically a lot of people do that actually. Similarly, women, give another example that woman doesn't hesitate to cook in the kitchen in the month of May and June, the hottest part of the summer season. Just doesn't say that because it is very hot, I will not do my duty. So duty is considered to be superior, is should be given preference and should be performed irrespective of whether one feel like doing it or one does not feel like doing it. In the month of especially the winter, one may feel like sleeping for long hours, but if duty call us, if it is a religious duty for us to wake up early in the morning and take bath and perform our spiritual activity, we should be still doing it. And similarly in the month of May, when it is when it is already very hot, extremely hot, it can be very it can be very tempting not to leave the fan or the AC room, and not to enter the kitchen, because there you'll always lit fire, and in the extreme summer, that fire can also become extremely intolerable. But people do that, people tolerate it, and people perform their activities by giving by giving preference to those activities. One has to perform one's own dharma, one's own duty must be performed, irrespective of at times even going against our desire, our wish. We should perform our duty. That is the instruction given here. So, and then Arjuna, Krishna relate that with the present situation for Arjuna. One has to execute his duty in spite of climatic inconveniences. Similarly, to fight is the religious principle of a Kshatriya. And although one has to fight with some friend or relative, one should not deviate from this prescribed duty. One has to follow the prescribed rules and regulations of religious principles in order to rise up into the platform of knowledge, because by knowledge and devotion only can one liberate himself from the clutches of Maya. So again, Prabhupada is again linking the principle of tolerance with the performance of duty. Know that all these people are spirit soul, and as a soul you cannot kill them. That's fine. At one level, that is true. However, in their present bodies, they are standing on the side of adharma, and you are standing on the side of dharma. And it is my desire, it is my wish, it is my desire. I want you to become instrument in killing all of them. So you should do it. You should do it irrespective of what your personal preference is. You should do it whether that gives you pleasure or pain. The killing of your own relatives, even if it is giving you pain, you should tolerate the pain. So that's the reason why, why after explaining, immediately after explaining the principle of spirit soul being residing inside all these bodies, Krishna immediately bring him to the platform of karma, that as a kshatriya do your duty, and that will be unpleasant at times, but you should still do it. The mothers will always wake up in between in the middle of night to take care of their crying baby. Mothers will not say that the babies, let baby learn tolerance, let baby cry for some time, I will not wake up, I will continue to sleep. When and how baby has to learn tolerance, it's between baby and Krishna. As a mother, she is supposed to do her duty. Her duty is to take care of her child. And she should wake up in the middle of night also and do the needful by taking care of child. She should not be thinking that my child is learning tolerance by crying at the middle of night, but that's not then she will be lacking in her duty, and that is sinful. We learn in 2.33rd verse later that non-performance of one's duty is sinful, so that one should avoid to. And then what should be done? We should perform our duty to the best of our ability. So this is the instruction, and that duty sometimes can be very pleasant, sometimes can be unpleasant. In this case, killing of relatives was considered to, Arjuna was considering it to be a very unpleasant duty, but Krishna says, so be it. You have to tolerate it, even if it is in something that is enjoyable. Even enjoyment has to be tolerated, even if distress has to be tolerated. And we will discuss how does that work. But so either way, you have to tolerate. Yam hina व्यथयन्त्येते purusham purusharshapha samadukha sukham dhiram so amrutaya kalpate. 15th verse, Krishna is saying, O best among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by the happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. This equanimity is recommended by Krishna throughout Bhagavad Gita. Now, this equanimity towards the problems of life, towards the situations of our life, is what one should achieve. One should achieve this by performance of devotional service. This is not this is not a theoretical mental position that we can attain just by learning theory. We have to attain this by learning theory as well as by performing sadhana bhakti. By performing devotional service, only we can learn this. In 18th chapter, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. In the 54th verse, Krishna says, again, repeat the same kind of a message, similar sounding message, where he says, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. Such a person is not na shochati, neither lamenting, nor kankshati, nor desiring. So there he's completely satisfied with himself. And such person, sama sarvasya bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. And such person is actually eligible to receive my mercy, my bhakti. So, so the beginning from this 2.14 till 18.54-55, Krishna is recommending verse, constantly hammering this message that you need to become tolerant. You need to become you need to have equanimity in the moments of happiness and distress. You should be able to remain steady, not get disturbed, not get disturbed. And repeatedly Krishna will speak this message in the second chapter, third chapter, fifth chapter, chapter after chapter. Krishna will repeat this message, one constant message. And this has to be attained. This cannot be attained just by knowledge. This has to be attained with by knowledge and practice both. But when we practice in a wholehearted way, on the basis the faith that we derive from the knowledge, when we practice devotional service, when we actually engages ourselves into Nam Sankirtan, chanting of the holy name, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that is the time when we start realizing this position. Otherwise, this position is impossible to be attained simply by theory. Prabhupada write in the purport through the 15th verse that anyone who is steady in his determination for the advanced stage of spiritual realization and can equally tolerate the onslaughts of distress and happiness is certainly a person eligible for liberation. The difficulties usually arise from having to sever family relationships, to give up the connection of wife and children. But if anyone is able to tolerate such difficulties, surely his path to spiritual realization is complete. Similarly, in Arjuna's discharge of duties as a Kshatriya, he is advised to preserve, even if it is difficult to fight with his family members or similarly beloved persons. In the first say paragraph, Prabhupada writes something very significant. One can equally, one who is eligible for liberation, one can equally tolerate the onslaughts of distress and happiness. The onslaughts of distress and happiness. And one has to tolerate both happiness as well as distress. That person becomes eligible for liberation. In 18.54, Krishna says that person becomes eligible to receive my devotion, is eligible to become my devotee. And once he becomes my devotee, he can easily get liberated. He can easily go back to Krishna. That's for him, it's like crossing a puddle of water which gets created, which water gets accumulated when the foot of a small calf, when he walks in the mud, how much will be the size of his foot, and how much water can assemble, can get accumulated in that small footprint. Crossing Bhavasagar is as easy as crossing this small puddle of water, which gets created by the foot impression of a calf. It becomes, for devotees, going back to Krishna is considered to be that easy. So we have to, but for that one has to learn to tolerate distress and happiness, onslaughts of distress and happiness both. Another beautiful verse which we will discuss today is which will not chant thanks to our uninvited friends, but nevertheless we will discuss this. Athachetvam imam dharmyam sangramam karishyasi tatah swadharmam kirtim cha hitva papam avapsasi. अथ चेत्वम इमं धर्म्यम संग्रामं न करिष्यसि ततः स्वधर्मम कीर्तिम च हित्वा papam avapsasi. What Krishna is saying here is something very significant. He's saying, however, athachetvam imam dharmyam sangramam na karishyasi. If you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, as a kshatriya, your principal duty is to fight. So if you do not, for example, because you have given me so many arguments why you should not fight this battle, if you choose not to fight the battle, sangramam ya karishyasi, na karishyasi, tatah swadharmam kirtim cha hitva papam havas. Then what will happen? If you do this, if you fight a battle, um, then in the 37th verse, Krishna will say that Hatova prapsasi svargyam jitvava bhokshase mahim. Hatova, if you die in this war, fighting on the religious side, if even if you die, you will attain swarga, and if you win, you will bhokshase mahim. Jitvava bhokshase mahim. If you win, you will win and enjoy the kingdom, the whole planet Earth. So, where is the loss? There is no loss. So Arjuna was considering it to be a lose-lose situation. Krishna is flipping it and presenting it as a win-win situation. That even if you die, you will enjoy swarga. That's what happened to people or soldiers who leave their bodies on the battlefield. And if you win, you will win the kingdom of this whole planet, which means you will still enjoy. So either case you will enjoy, either way you will enjoy. So there is no loss. So it's a win-win situation either way. But so that is the condition, that is the position. So I'm saying, so Krishna is saying in the 33rd verse that, but if you still consider yourself as a Kuru, the son of Kuru dynasty, who should be protecting his brothers and his relatives, and it chooses not to fight, then you will lose. You will certainly incur sin for neglecting your prescribed duty, and thus you will lose all your reputation as a fighter. Arjuna had defeated. Arjuna went to, during Vanvas, he went to Swarga, and Lord Shiva come in the disguise of a hunter, and then picks up a fight with Arjuna, and they have the there's a huge battle that was fought between the two, and Arjuna defeats Lord Shiva, and then as a reward becomes very pleased by his archery, and then he gives him Pashupati Astra as a gift. Dronacharya himself has given him so many weapons which could actually could have helped Arjuna to kill Dronacharya himself. But still, Dronacharya was so pleased with Arjuna's dedication as a student, and he gave him without restriction everything, whatever he possessed, he gave them. Similarly, Indra, who was his father, he gave Arjuna a lot of shastrastra, which could have been useful to him in the fighting this war. So he had so much fame. He had so much fame, and all of that he could have lost if he were to consider not fighting as an option. If he were to give up this battle, he would have lost his kirti, he would have lost his fame, and he would have still definitely incurred sin. So as a soul, knowing that we are a spirit soul is necessary but not sufficient. Why? Because we still have to perform our duties. Whichever varna and ashrama we may be belonging to, whichever stage of life we may be belonging to, we will have certain duties for ourselves. So there is a supreme duty that is a primary duty for all the human beings, that is to develop loving devotional service towards Lord Krishna. And at a secondary level, there will be duties which are associated with our present body. If you are in student body, then our duty is to study. If you are in grahastha body, then your duty is to take care of your family. If you are a body in a woman, you'll have to look after your family. If your body of an old person, you will have some other duties, but there will be duties associated, connected with the body. Those will also be there. And we should be performing all of those duties to the best of our ability. Giving up duty is not recommended in Bhagavad Gita. So know that you are a spirit soul, but know also that you have to act, you have to perform your duties. And at times, those performance of your duties can be pleasant as well as unpleasant. It may lead to pleasant or unpleasant experiences for ourselves. And despite of that, we should continue doing our duty. And if we do not do duty as confirmed by this verse, you will incur sin. Now, there could be confusion in terms of my duties. There could be higher duties and lower duties, primary fundamental duties and secondary duties. How do I choose which one to be done and when? So one beautiful Bhagavatam verse, which it comes in the first canto, second chapter, sixth verse. Again, a verse which all should try to memorize and remember, recollect every now and then. Savai pumsa paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshaje ahetuki apratihata yayatma suprasiddhati. the uh, the supreme occupation dharma, savai pumso, savai pumsam paro dharmo. Paro is transcendental dharma, higher dharma or superior dharma. Which is that superior duty for all the living entities? Is yato bhaktir adhokshaje. Adhokshaje is a name, another name of Lord Krishna. The one who is beyond the reach of my material senses is adhokshaja, is referred to as adhokshaja. So it's a reference to Lord Krishna. So what is my parodharma? Paradharma, superior duty, is developing bhakti towards adhokshaja. And what kind of bhakti? Loving devotional service. To attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendental Lord. And how should that such loving devotional service, how should it be? It should be ahetuki, without any tinge of unmotivated, any material, without any tinge of material desires, unconditional, not based on I will perform bhakti provided you do me 1 2 3 4 5. It is unmotivated, ahetuki and apratihata. Apratihata is uninterrupted. And in every condition, in any condition, I will perform loving devotional service unto you, O Lord. So that commitment is given by devotees. And that such uninterrupted bhakti can satisfy the self completely. So anybody who becomes a devotee, will always be satisfied completely in himself. So, but that kind of, and that is considered, that is a parodharma. That is a parodharma. That is a superior duty to be performed by everyone, all the living entities, especially all the human beings. Ahetuki, unmotivated, apratihata, uninterrupted. And then such experience can completely satisfy yourself. Another beautiful verse in the same chapter 2, 8th verse, tells us that how should we how should we act. The what is the goal of occupational activities? Whatever ultimate goal, what is the ultimate goal of all our occupational activities? Whatever we might be doing, we might be working, we might be running our own business, we might be a householder, we might be a retired person, we might be a student, we might be a homemaker, whichever stage of life we might be, uh, we are performing our duties according to our varna and ashram. But there is an ultimate goal for all of us to achieve. And that is mentioned in this beautiful verse. Dharmaha sva anush, anutish, anush, अनुष्ठित स्वानुष्ठितः पुंसा धर्मः स्वानुष्ठितः पुंसा विश्वक्सेन कथासु यः न उत्पाद ये न उत्पादयेद यदि रतिम क्षम एव हि केवलम धर्म स्व अनुष्ठात अनुष्ठितः पुंसा dharma swa अनुष्ठितः पुंसा means whatever the occupational activity a man may perform according to his own position, whatever. One may run a successful business, one may run a loss making business, one may become world famous in certain qualities, one may develop and may become world famous, world number one, in this, in that, whatever that you may do, become run marathon at the age of 60, become famous for your intelligence, become, whatever you may do, whatever, based on our skill, talents, and abilities, whatever we may achieve, whatever we may do, we may not do. But if that, whatever we are doing, if it is not resulting, if it if the result of sum and substance of all our actions, if it is not leading to us developing love for hearing Krishna Katha, love for Krishna, then such if such love is not developed, if such love is not produced by the all our actions, na utpada yeda yadi ratim. Utpad is production. Utpad is um, ut, no utpadan, no utpadan. Utpadan is production. So if all those activities are unable to produce ratim, Shama Ratim is loving sentiment to hear, loving sentiment towards Lord Krishna. If we are not able to lead us to develop loving sentiment for Lord Krishna, then Shama Evahi Kevalam. Then provoke our attraction. Prabhupada write a very beautiful word that do not, if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the personality of Godhead, then everything else, whatever we would have done, is Shrama Evahi Kevalam. Shrama evahi kevalam. So we may be very good in performing our occupational duties, our professional duties. We may be the number one lawyer in the world. We may be the number one businessman in the country. We might be the best father, best mother, best son, best children, best grandfather in the world. But if sum and substance of all these activities are not able to produce an attraction for the message of Krishna, then all those activities are useless. Are this useless? Because they are Shrama Evahi Kevalam. They are useless labor. Why useless labor? Because they will force you to take birth in this material world once again. Unless you develop love for Krishna, you cannot go back to Krishna. And sum and substance of our activities, if they are not leading towards this one end result, then we should be asking ourselves, what am I doing? What am I doing? Why am I doing? Why am I doing so much? So much I'm investing, so much time, money, energy, effort I'm investing in those activities which if they do not result in me, in my me developing a loving sentiment for Lord Krishna, then why am I investing so much in them? Why am I investing so much in them? I will be forced to do a lot of those things as a matter of my duty. But beyond that, if I invest into those actions more, uh, which are not leading me towards Krishna, then I'm wasting my lifetime. Because none of those actions will help me at the moment of my death. If I have not developed loving sentiment for Krishna, I'm not able to remember Krishna throughout my life. And if I don't remember Krishna throughout my life, I cannot remember Krishna at the end of my life. And then, if I cannot remember Krishna at the end of my life, I cannot go back to Krishna. Simple, which means I'm forced to come back. I'll be forced to come back into the womb of another mother, be it human or animal or a mosquito or a bedbug's mother or a womb in womb of a of an insect in the stool. Wherever my karma will lead to, I'm forced to follow. I'm helpless then. And that is a very miserable situation. If we couldn't solve the problem of life in our lifetime, um, that's problem. That's a big problem for us. So where are we? We are standing in between two armies, ready to fight the most important battle of that time. On one side, we had Kaurava's army led by Adharmik Duryodhan and all his brothers who did everything possible to kill Pandava at every available opportunity. When killing was not possible, they tried dishonoring them, humiliating them after defeating them in a rigged gambling match. Duryodhan even Duryodhan, Dushasan, they even tried disrobing Draupadi in the entire assembly. So, even after completing all the conditions of 13 years of Vanvas and 1 year in hiding, Duryodhan simply refused to give back the Indraprastha to Pandavas. And as a result, this war has now become unavoidable. Shanti Prastav was also rejected. Krishna personally was present in Hastinapur explaining that even if you give 5 villages to Pandavas, this war can be avoided. But Duryodhan refused to give those 5 villages. Dhritarashtra refused to intervene in this situation. Despite of being king, he could have given those 5 villages and avoided war. But he couldn't speak in front of his own son. He was helplessly watching Duryodhan actually decide everything on his behalf. So though he was a king, he was actually not a king. And in that helpless situation, the war became unavoidable. And Krishna instruction to tolerate is not tolerate and forgive Pandavas, the Kauravas atrocities, but but the tolerate is performance of duty as a Kshatriya. So the questions may come up that why is that in the backdrop of so much wrong being done to the Pandavas, why Krishna is giving really this advice of tolerance? Why is Krishna advising Arjuna to become tolerant? Why should they tolerate? And why should they not fight back? And what is really Krishna's will? What Krishna wants? And what is really his desires are? How do we understand this in real life and how we act in our real life situations? Let's deep dive into this aspect. So, difference in Krishna's will and his sanction. So these two things are two different things. We generally say that Krishna willing, we will meet next Sunday. Krishna willing. But is that really Krishna desiring or Krishna willing means Krishna sanctioning? So these two are two different things. What is Krishna's will? Krishna's will is Tesham Satata Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tvam Yena Mam Upayantite. In the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 10th verse, Krishna says, reveals his heart to Arjuna, saying that Yena Mam Upayantite, by which they can come to me. By which people can come to me? Dadami buddhi yogam tvam. I can give them extra intelligence by which using which they can come to me. And when Krishna gives intelligence, tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. When he sees a devotee engage in performance of devotional service, a satata yuktanam, apratihata, uninterrupted way, in an uninterrupted way, in every condition and all conditions, when a devotee chooses to perform devotional service of chanting and hearing Krishna Katha, chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra and hearing Krishna Katha, then and he does it not grudgingly. Bhajatam Priti Purvakam. Priti Purvakam is he performed devotional service in loving way. Then Krishna says, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tvam. Then I on my own will give him additional intelligence to understand me, to understand my instructions, understand my message, and by which, following which, you can come to me. Yenamam upayantite. So this 10.10 is a very beautiful verse which reveals what Krishna want us to do. Krishna want us, all of us, to come back to him. And for that, he's prepared to give extra intelligence for us to be able to understand his instructions. And he can do that provided he see us sincerely performing devotional service of hearing and chanting. So if you are not doing that, we will not be eligible to receive his mercy. And without his mercy, we cannot go back to him. And if we don't go back to him, aprapyamma nivartante mrityu sansara vartmani. Aprapyam, if you cannot attain Krishna, you are forced to return back to this Mrtya Loka and accept another mother, accept another father, accept another religion, another human body, male and female body, and then act according to that body. Act according to that body. You are forced to act in this body. So our journey continues. Our journey continues, which could have ended if we if we have chosen if we have made right choices in our previous life. This journey could have ended by the giving up of previous body. By while giving up previous body, simply remember Krishna, go back to Krishna. But if we mess up, we will be forced to accept another body. So this is what Krishna want. This is what is his desire. And but his will and his sanction can be different. Krishna want us to be engaged in performance of devotional service always. Satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam, not grudgingly, lovingly. So that is what he want. And Arjuna did exactly that. Arjuna fought war as a devotional service, as a devotional activity, not as a revenge. In fact, Krishna says, advise him to not have any animosity towards Kauravas, but perform this, just kill them as a matter of your duty. As because Krishna is telling you kill, not out of animosity, not out of revenge, not for revenge, because then that would have meant that Arjuna is acting on his own. Arjuna is acting in tamoguna, rajoguna. Even if he fights this war in sattva it's still fighting on his own. But here, Krishna is advising Arjuna to fight the war as a devotional service, as a service to Krishna. So, so that's what Krishna is utilizing Arjuna's skill for. So, Arjuna is fighting war because Krishna want him to fight. As a Krishna's desire to fulfill Krishna's will, Arjuna is fighting a war. Now, this is different than Krishna's sanction. Krishna says Draupadi, another beautiful example of Krishna's will. One way is when Arjuna is doing Krishna's will, acting according. He does not raise his arm. He raised his arm and picked up his bow and arrow and fight against the warriors that Krishna is showing showing him. This is also doing Krishna's will, accepting Krishna's will as supreme. Draupadi also accepted Krishna's will as supreme. But when she's tried protecting her honor in every possible way, afterwards she give up. She raised both her hands and then say, "Oh Govinda, whatever you want to happen to me, so be it. I will tolerate it. If you want me to be disrobed in this entire assembly and get humiliated, if this is what you want, so be it. I will tolerate it." So both are tolerating. Arjuna is tolerating performance of, but he's performing his Krishna's will and he's tolerating. And Draupadi is surrender to Krishna's will, and she's also ready to tolerate. So whatever you want me to happen, whatever you want to happen to me, so be it. I will tolerate. And that is that's how the divine intervention happens and her honor is protected. So, but both Arjuna and Draupadi are surrendered, and both are tolerating in the performance of his in the performance of devotional service. Krishna's sanction is something different. Krishna's sanctions means you want to do something, you want to do a particular thing, and Krishna will let you do it. If your karmic currency is available, you possess sufficient karmic currency for that result, then Krishna may sanction you to do it. It is not that Krishna want you to do it. It is something that you want to do it, and Krishna is letting you do it based on your karmic currency available. So there is a difference. So when bad things are happening in our life, Krishna is sanctioning them. Krishna is not desiring them, not necessarily. So this is how we should understand the problems that comes in our life. It can are not are sanctioned by Krishna because we deserved them, but not desired by Krishna, not necessarily. Okay, so we shouldn't really be blaming Krishna. We should be taking shelter of Krishna. So the meaning of tolerance in Bhagavad Gita for Arjuna is that you have to fight against Bhishma and Drona, and that is very painful for you, but you have to tolerate. So the intelligence is required to know what to tolerate. Without that, we may end up tolerating something which we should not be tolerating. So, and how do we know what to tolerate and what not to tolerate? For that, we need intelligence. Intelligence tell us that which are big things in our life, so that those big things we can focus upon, and we can keep small things small in our life. So if our intelligence is not very good, then we may make a blunder. We may make a small thing into big, and that then we may not have sufficient time left for our big thing, actual big things to take care of. So we need to be intelligent. We need to be intelligent, and that intelligence comes by the study of scriptures. So our intelligence help us to understand what is big, what is small, and then that we can be we can exercise tolerance to keep small things small and make big thing big, so that we can focus on right activities, right goal, and perform right activities, so that we don't end up wasting a lot of our time, energy on smaller things which anyway don't matter. So both fuels each other. Tolerance is a virtue, but tolerance is not the ultimate virtue, not the ultimate instruction. The ultimate instruction for human being is to develop loving devotional service towards Lord Krishna in our current lifetime. Utilizing our current lifetime to develop loving devotional service towards Lord Krishna is the ultimate instruction given by all the Vedas, all the Vedic knowledge culminates into this single instruction, that smartavyam satatam Vishnu vismartavyam na jayachut. That forgetting Krishna is not an option. Always remember Krishna. Always serve Krishna. That way, uh, that is the ultimate instruction given to us. So this is where we are. So ultimate instruction for human being is to develop loving devotional service towards Lord Krishna in our current lifetime. This is big thing. If we consider this to be big, everything else becomes small. Everything else becomes small. So whatever my problems are currently, um, if they are interfering in with my performance of devotional service on a long-term basis, then it's a big issue. And we must take necessary action to protect our devotional service. So whatever problems today we might be having in our life, and we may have list of our problems, some may not have, some may be struggling in education, some may be not getting degrees, or getting degrees not getting jobs not getting increments, promotions, or not getting a lot of money sufficient to meet all my expense, have a lot of financial problems, have a lot of financial loans being taken, not been able to service my loans, not having sufficient money to buy a house in a city like Mumbai, not having a wife, not having wife, not having children, having children not listening to me, having children listen to me, but we don't, but we have to part ways because of ego issues, ego clashes, or for job I have to go out and stay abroad, stay away from my family. And eventually my families are catching up with various health issues. The health issues worsen, some of my close loved ones leave their body, and so on and so forth. So my list of problem is unending. And a lot of those can become very genuine issues. Health issues to our loved ones in a family becomes so big that sometimes for some small period, actually it can overtake all our activities, all our priorities. We may not be able to perform our japa. We may not be able to, especially with arrival of new children in the family, mothers will rarely get time to chant. They are so much occupied with the child all the time, 24 hours practically the whole day. And whenever the child sleeps, then they also catch up on some sleep. Otherwise there's no time left for them to sleep. So as long as child is awake, they need to be awake. So at times, performance of devotional service actually becomes an issue. But we should know that these are temporary issues. So it shouldn't, on a long-term basis, if that's happening, then there is definitely a problem we must do something about. So because ultimately we should do everything in our control to protect our devotional service, because that is the big thing. Developing devotional, loving sentiment for Lord Krishna is big thing. And our actions, if we are doing too many actions which are not directed towards this activity, then there is a problem, because then we are wasting a lot of our time in things which are temporary, which are not going to help me develop love for Krishna. It is not helping me in my devotional service, and I shouldn't be doing a lot of those activities for long time. This situation, if we are of our devotional service is getting affected, that situation is a big issue, and we must act. That should not be tolerated. We must fight against it. And so the other things can be other situations. We may sometimes choose to act, and sometimes we may choose to tolerate. We may sometimes choose to act, or sometimes we may choose to tolerate. The other situations, sometimes we can be in the position of authority. if we are in a position of authority, we should do everything in our control to set things right. Set things right. If you see something wrong happening, somebody is doing wrong to someone else, we should do everything in our capacity to correct it to the extent possible. But at times we are not always at the in the position of authority. We don't. Sometimes we are at the receiving end, and with very little or practically no control. Very little that we could do. In that case, we may choose to tolerate for the time being until things become favorable to us to act. So there could be a period in our life where we things are so much down, then we are forced to tolerate. We can't really do much. So those are the periods through which we just have to see things through, and hope that the normalcy, the favorable conditions may return, so that you can take some action around it, and to rectify some of your life problems. However, but in every situation, we can take shelter of Lord Krishna. In every situation, we can chant Krishna's name. We can chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We can hear his pastime. We can remember Krishna in every situation. And that will help us deepen our faith in him. Deepen our faith in him. And this can be done in any and every situation without exception. Whatever our condition might be, we nothing can stop us from remembering Krishna. Nothing can stop us from chanting his name. May not be on beads, but at least on in your mind. So there so the performance of devotional service is that one choice we should always exercise, no matter how good, bad, ugly our condition might be from the material point of view. So that is how we understand that uh, we can tolerate, but we should also never give up performance of devotional service. Happiness and distress. Just to summarize today's topic of tolerance, we learn that happiness and distress will come in our life, no matter how carefully we plan our affairs. Happiness and distress. Krishna doesn't say that for devotees it's only happiness, no distress will come. Both will come, unfortunately. And one should be prepared for that. One should not get caught surprised when problems comes in our life. So both will come. And why they come? They come because of our own past good and bad karma. They are the result of our own karmic actions performed in the past, in the current life, as well as in the previous life. We may eat chocolates for the last 6 months, and and then develop a toothache, and our tooth may get damage, and we may be forced to visit a dentist, and he may remove the teeth, or operate on the teeth, or perform some surgery on the teeth. So here what we see is there is a cause and there is an effect. What is the cause? I ate a lot of chocolates for 6 months continuously, and end of 6 months I'm having bad tooth which had to be fixed by the surgery. So there is a cause and effect relationship visible. But many times life does not is life things are not so clear always. So at times we may be, from childhood we must have taken great care of our tooth, the teeth, dental care. We must be brushing regularly twice a day with best paste available in the market, and avoiding eating junk and this and that, and doing whatever the dentist typically advises us to do. We do everything, but still a lot of us have to go and face dentist. Now, if despite of taking care of my dental health, I still need to some many times end up facing dentists. And so here the relationship, the cause and effect relationship is not very clear, because I see no apparent cause for which I'm getting the same bad tooth. Uh, and but the toothache I'm getting, but I don't have a immediate cause for it. So sometimes these causes are visible, sometimes these causes are not visible, because the karmic reaction, the horizon of karma is millions and millions of lifetime, is of millions of lifetime, and our remembrance is not even sufficient for one lifetime, what to speak of previous and previous and previous. Hence we may not always remember all our bad karma. And when we get bad result, for as a result of those bad activities, we sometimes can get surprise in our present life, that in my current life, to the extent I remember, I'm living a very pious life. Then why am I to get those reactions, which I may feel I don't deserve? But we need to understand that the Krishna's horizon is wider, is that of millions and millions of lifetimes. Our horizon, our knowledge is limited to this lifetime. In this lifetime also, barely we remember some few things, and most of the things we forget. So we should understand that we should get both happiness, moments of happiness and moments of distress, both will come in our life, and we need to tolerate both happiness and distress. Why tolerate happiness? Because whatever happiness, moment of happiness that we are experiencing is due to some achievement, and our achievements are because of the talents and abilities given by Krishna. Talents and abilities given by Krishna, we may achieve something, and we may be, as a result of which we may feel happy. We may feel happy about. So our happiness, moments of happiness as well as moments of distress, both comes with the sanction of Krishna, and for that we should be thankful to Krishna. We should be have our gratitude. We should express our gratitude towards Krishna. Else we become proud of our achievements. We become egoistic because of our achievements. If we forget Krishna, then we start thinking we are the doer. We are the doer, and we have achieved this, and as a result, that will lead to pride, and pride will destroy our devotion. Hence, we need to tolerate both the moments of happiness and moments of distress. Distress, why? Because it's a result of my own karmic action. I may not have remembrance, but Krishna knows, and he know when to give, how much to give, in how much quantity to give, so that we can tolerate. We can tolerate. So just take shelter of Krishna and keep tolerating both happiness and distress. We must keep in the perform in the due course, we must also keep performing our occupational duties as per our varna and ashrama. Giving up duties or dharma is not an option, as it will certainly incur sin. But whenever there is a conflict of dharma, of our occupational duty, and devotional service, we should preference should always be given to devotional service, which is a superior parodharma, as we said, that which is a superior to all other duties and responsibilities in life. We see that in Srimad Bhagavatam, devotees have repeatedly done that. Normal Vedic injunction is that a son should be obedient to his father. Son should listen to his father. But Prahlad refused to listen to the will of the father. That consider he Hiranyakashipu as the god, and give up remembrance of Lord Vishnu. So when there was a conflict, Prahlad chose devotional service over his duty as a son towards his father. Similarly, in other examples also, we see in the Lord Krishna Vrindavan pastime, the Brahman Patnis, there was a story that Yajni Brahmanas were performing yajna, and Brahman Patnis were preparing bhoga to be offered to the yajna. And Krishna says, Krishna and Balram with their friends they were grazing cows nearby. They were hungry, and Bhuktaram Yajna Tapasa, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Bhuktaram, I am the enjoyer of all yajna. So Brahmanas, whatever yajna they were performing, Krishna is ultimate enjoyer of that yajna. Yajna which includes Ahuti, yajna sacrifice also. So Bhoga also belongs to Krishna. So Krishna went to these Yagjik Brahmanas and then requested them that my friends are hungry. Can you give some bhoga to them? Because anyway it belongs to me, it's going to get offered to me only. I'm just asking it upfront. But Brahmanas just shoo them away. They just refuse to even talk to them. But those Brahman Patnis who have heard about Krishna's beauty, when they heard that Krishna Balram are nearby and they are hungry, they immediately picked up all the bhoga that they prepared and ran towards Lord Krishna, forgetting their duties as wives of Brahmanas. They, as the wives of Brahmanas, they had their chaste wives of their Brahman husbands. But when the question came to choose between Krishna and their material duties, material dharma, they chose devotional service, the bhakti, superior and to the performance of our material duties. So entire Bhagavatam we see wherever and whenever there was a moment of conflict, devotees have always chosen devotional service. And that is the instruction of Srimad Bhagavatam, that is the instruction of Srimad Bhagavad Gita as well. So whenever there is a conflict, devotional service should be chosen, which is superior to all other duties and responsibilities in life. And that is what will be pleasing to Lord Krishna also. Mhm. The facility for hearing and chanting, again a request, these are, so morning japa session is a hop on hop off session, means you can join anytime and leave anytime. The timing mentioned here is not that one has to follow. I join around 6:30 and then chant until 8:30, go on chanting. But the session finishes at 7:30, but I continue. But many devotees who join at 5 a.m. and then they finish by 7 p.m., 7 a.m. So a lot of devotees, new devotees who chant 4 rounds, they join from say 6:30 to 7. And then they listen to the beautiful prayer, Vibhavari Shesha prayer that we sing for the pleasure of Lord Krishna, and then they drop at 7 a.m. So many devotees even join at 7 a.m. and then they stay back until the in conclusion of the session at 7:30. So it's a hop on hop off session, which means you don't have to worry about the start time and end time. You can join anytime, you can leave anytime. But it's important for you to show up in this session so that devotees can start tracking you. And that way, our devotional service can become apratihata, uninterrupted. Our objective is to become intentional devotees of Lord Krishna and perform devotional service in an uninterrupted way. And for that to happen, it's important that we have right association. And in that right association, we practice devotional service. So please join these morning japa sessions every day. Vikas Prabhuji, Ravi Prabhuji, they host these sessions so beautifully. A lot of effort they put in it hosting these sessions, and all of us, every one of us, should actually join these sessions and make this session successful by contributing in our own way. We should lead japa someday. We should lead the singing of Vibhavari Shesha Sunday. And if not otherwise, generally we should participate in this in the japa and chant our rounds along with the devotees. If the voice is disturbing, we can lower the speaker voice on join through mobile, lower the volume, and then accordingly we can but we can still show up ourselves in the session so that devotees know we are chanting with them, and Lord knows that we are doing what is been asked to do in this situation. So that's a very, very critical session. As we progress towards Krishna, our progress will be determined by the quality of our japa, how much humility we develop ultimately. It will all depend on how much sincerely we have chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra, how much remembrance of Krishna we will develop. It will depend on how much sincerely we have chanted every day, how much love we have developed for Krishna. It will depend on how much sincerely we have chanted every day. Everything is linked to japa. Bhagavad Gita, learning Bhagavad Gita is to provoke ourselves to take up to the japa, take up to the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And Hare Krishna Mahamantra is supposed to provoke us to learn Bhagavad Gita more by going deep into the learning of Bhagavad Gita. So both things fuel each other, but japa, Nam Sankirtan is the ultimate instruction given by Lord Krishna when he appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna Katha, equally important. We read Bhagavatam in the evening from 8:30 to 9 and read one shloka of Bhagavad Gita from 9 to 9:15. It's time we break for question answer. Again, there can be personal questions regarding our personal situations which we need not ask in public. All of you hopefully have my mobile number, and you should save that with my name Mahapati Ramdas, and then you should send me if there is any personal question that you want to wish to ask or wish to discuss. Please send it across, and we should be able to discuss those in one-on-one sessions. But if there are any general questions, we can discuss some of those. Sanjeev Prabhuji, yes. I need to ask you to now unmute. So when I will ask you to unmute, you can unmute and speak. So only you will be able to unmute, others not.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Thank you so much for such a beautiful session on tolerance. So my question is, when it comes to tolerance, how does one apply this principle to one's own body? In the sense, one realizes that one needs to keep one's body fit and healthy to perform devotional service. And on the other hand, you have this medical fraternity, which has become so commercial today that they cloud your intelligence, that even if you have the slightest symptom on your body, they will, subject you or recommend that please go through this test, that test, and subject you to various tests. And invariably, their objective is to somehow get you hospitalized, and thereafter they'll turn you into a guinea pig, perform all kinds of tests. So we have evidence, even Prabhupada ji at one point of time in his life, when he was not too well, he actually refused, medical treatment from these doctors. So, the question is, with this medical fraternity making you paranoid today and turning you into a kind of a hypochondriac that rush and conduct tests the moment this has happened, which may not, really have much meaning really, but it plants a fear into you and clouds your intelligence. So when tolerance with regard to the body, of course you need to keep it healthy, but where does one strike a balance in the light of how the medical fraternity is behaving today? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. It's a very pertinent question, Prabhuji, and often the answer is not very straightforward. The reason is one is obviously we need to do what best we can to save the body as well. It's not that body is completely useless. We need to use this same body in performing devotional service. So for japa, we need to use the same body. For seeing Lord, we need to use the same eyes. And as long as their health is retained, maintained, we can continue to do these activities, and that can enhance our love for Krishna. However, where should we really draw a line when body starts malfunctioning or stop functioning the way it used to be? We fall sick, and obviously we will be directed to the medical fraternity, who will sometimes have their own way in increasing profits in their profitability statements, which will force us to go through various stages, various tests forcibly. Now, at times financially, it can be stressful extremely. Some of us may have finances to be able to go through those, but financially, for some, it's may not be really possible. It just may become impossible to cope up with the doctors and performance of those tests. So where should we draw line somewhere? I believe yes, but where that individual line is depends on the devotee himself. So if you are a devotee, Prabhupada drew that line. He was very clear as to what should happen with his body, what should not happen with his body, and he never never went to that allopathy. He was always dependent on the Ayurvedic treatment till the end of his life, and ultimately he knew that there will be a time beyond which he will not want to prolong his presence in the material world. So while returning from London in the month of October 1977, he told devotees that I don't want to go anywhere else. Let's go to Vrindavan. I want to go and give up my body there. Um, our Guru Maharaj also was very categorical that he says that unnecessarily he does not want to be kept on ventilator or those kind of uh, things just to keep the body artificially alive. So so many devotees we see, they write these things, and they because at the point of time when you are actually in control, you are controlled by others. Most of the times, if you happen to be sick, the others are actually in control of your body, and at times when writing such things down definitely help. And we should also uh, have the maturity to be able to express those and explain those things in a very mature way, and hopefully the others who are in charge of taking care of us can also understand this, and can respect our opinion, and at some stage stop going through all the problems, stop going through taking us through all the necessary problems, stop taking the medical, go against even at times the medical advice that is available. So it's a individual, but it is that we've seen many devotees deal in very dignified way with these problems, and they go through the last stage of their life as if even though they go through extreme pain, but they tolerate. And we've seen Kadam Kannan Maharaj left his body. He was giving interviews. He was going through an extremely painful phase. His very advanced stage of cancer. His body was paining. He was not able to even chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. His Guru Maharaj told him that you need not chant. You have chanted enough. You don't stop, even if you stop chanting, it's okay. You need not chant 16 rounds. You just chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra once or twice, or that is also okay. I will accept it. Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj actually gave this instruction to him, and but his prayer, Kadam Kadam Maharaj's prayer was, "Don't take away this service from me, Maharaj. Please allow me to chant 16 rounds." And then he continued to chant. So beyond the point, we see that they actually they don't function at the level of their body. They were inside their body, but they were, I mean, they were functioning much. Um, I mean, their functioning was really beyond the body. I mean, the bodily level, they probably should have been should have been crying for help at a bodily level, but they were chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. They were giving interviews, they were meeting devotees, others. Kadam Kanan Maharaj was meeting other sannyasis. His meeting with Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, meeting with Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, meeting with his own Guru Maharaj. They were all shot on camera, and it's just few days before he actually left his body. But that stage, he was medically, he was unfit even to stand and to speak. What to speak of? There's a doctor saying that he should be crying, he should be shouting, because it's unbearable pain experiencing. But what was he doing? He was smiling, he was giving interviews, he was saying, Krishna will look after me. I've done some seva. I'm confident that Krishna will take care of me, and it's not that bad. It's not that bad. He was like smiling, and then he's asking his Guru Maharaj, please continue to allow me to chant 16 rounds. And he's actually chanting till the last breath. And going back to Krishna is just a formality for such devotee. So we see in practical life also, devotees exemplify, by personal example, they show how it can be done. And but again, it depends upon individual person, and and how mature that devotee is, and how mature others who are handling him. But it should be done at some stage. One should really draw a line, and should know how far we can go, and when to say no, even go against medical advice at some stage. And rather than leaving your body on the ventilator, you should be living, hoping to leave your body surrounded by devotees in a very peaceful environment, looking at Lord Krishna. When devotees are singing kirtan, uh, feeding you Ganga Jal, feeding you water from Radha Kund, giving you garland from the nearby temple, feeding you with prasad. There is continuous 24 by 7 Harinam going on. In that case, in that situation, such a conducive situation to remember Krishna, if you can give up your body, versus you are surrounded by some cables and wires and ventilators and nurses who anyway look at you as a dead body, or soon to become dead body, or whatever is there. I mean, they are paid workers anyway. What more we can expect from them? But that's unfortunate place to live, give up one's body. but but again, there's no one straight answer, but we should definitely know, based on our own maturity, where to draw a line. And all of us can do that. It's not very difficult. Okay, Prabhu? Yeah. Radha Mataji, you can unmute. Mataji, you can speak.
Hare Krishna, Guruji, Dandavat Pranam. A couple of questions are also there in the chat box, Guruji. Means whenever you want to take them. Hare Krishna.
Sure, Roji. I finished early. I knew probably will be a lot of questions, but yeah, I mean, yes, Radha Mataji, you can you speak? Maybe she's not able to speak. Gayatri Mataji, you want to ask question? I'll ask you to unmute.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, my question is like when a Kshatriya dies in a war, like he will be attaining Swargaloka. But if like in case of Duryodhan, he is a very adharma person. Like he does a lot of adharma. Like how can that? How can he also get the same position? Like if he dies in the war at Swargaloka, like which is not. I mean, in my perspective, I feel it is not fair that he should get that position because he has done so much adharma. He has troubled Pandavas.
Yeah. So we should, yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. So we should understand the position of Swarga Loka per se. What do you mean by Swarga Loka? We have our own houses, our own homes, which are also very probably nice places, nicely decorated. And we have a place like in Bombay, we have Taj Hotel or ITC Grand Maratha. Now it looks like a very five-star hotelity, five-star facility, seven-star hotel, where everything looks very perfect. Everything looks very glossy. Everything looks very beautiful. Everyone around looks very beautiful, nicely dressed. And as if there is no problem, that if you walk into those facilities, you feel as if there are no problems in the world exist. There's just no problems in the world. The world is perfect in those in those places. So Swarga is like that, and going there really does not mean much because it's not permanent residence for you anyway. And after going there, even if you get a glimpse of it and you come back, you have not really achieved anything. It's like because ultimately you may stay there for one night, one or two or three nights. Ultimately you will go back to your own home. So this is the position of Svargaloka. In the in the ninth chapter, Krishna actually explains that Kshine Punya Swarga Lokam Vishante, that Marte Loka Vishante. So Kshine Punya, as your bank balances reduces, Punya Kshina hota hai, you return back to this material world. So that Swarga per se achieving is not considered to be an achievement at all. And Duryodhan had was living the life of a Hastinapur Naresh almost. He was almost like a king of Hastinapur, and his life was not less than a Swarga. He had all the opulence that was available in the Swarga. He had all the enjoyments that are available in the Swarga. So for him, going to Swarga, it was no big deal. It's like you live in a palace, and when you visit another five-star hotel, it's no really big thing for you. So we should not consider Swarga to be the to be any significance by that standard. Could he achieve Krishna? He couldn't achieve Krishna, even though he left his body in front of Krishna. So this is where will he be forced to go enter into the womb of another mother? Probably yes. Now that is his failure. That is his ultimate failure. That he will be forced to enter the womb of another mother and continue to pay price for all the bad actions that he has done by suffering perpetually in the future birth. That is really his position. And this is if that is his position, it is miserable by all standards. So one should not really give much attention to his he getting glimpses of Swarga, but one should really be worried as to how his now future journey will hold for him, how miserable it will be. And the lesson we should learn from his life is basically we should not be non-envious to Krishna. We should become non-envious to Krishna. We should develop loving sentiment for Krishna. We should perform Hare Krishna Mahamantra Japa. We should read Bhagavad Gita, follow all the instructions, and go back to Krishna. That's a simple lesson we can take from Duryodhan's life also. Okay, Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. You are on mute right now, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Sorry. Sorry, Prabhuji. Sushil Kumar, I'm requesting you to unmute. Sorry, yeah. Prabhuji, you can unmute. Can you unmute now? Yes, you
Hare
are.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Hello.
Yes, Prabhuji, I can hear you.
Hi. My question is regarding this the prescribed duty. Actually, it is told that when you do the prescribed duty as per Varna and Ashram, then we will not going to get seen. But in our practical cases, what you do, even Kshatriya, Brahmin, all are working somewhere in some offices. This is not as per their prescribed duty, is not it? So whether they'll be means getting the scene, or how can you can explain if anybody asks to us these
Yeah.
things?
So thank you so much, Prabhuji. Wonderful question. So, so Varna and Ashram, basically we only have ashrams today. Or whatever, we could be born in Brahman families, Kshatriya families, but in general, all of us are, um, uh, all of that has got twisted over years. It's not that Brahmanas are pure Brahmanas and Kshatriyas are pure Kshatriyas and Vaishyas are Vaishyas, because of the commingling of the marriages which have happened across the different sections of society. All of this has now really lost its meaning. But there are ashrams and there are duties associated with those ashrams. Now, some could be in student phase, some could be in the grahastha phase, some could be in the vanaprastha phase, and some could be towards the end of their life. And some of us are homemakers, some of us are, you know, so at different stages in our life, we all have different duties associated with us, with that phase, and those duties should be performed. Mother will have duty to take care of her baby, infant baby. When she cries, she has to take care of her baby. That's her duty. That's her prescribed duty. So this way we can understand that even though the historical Vedic culture has become very blur, the boundaries have become very blur, and but we still can associate ourselves with duties, and those duties should be performed. And those duties, though, are most of those duties will be at a level of our body. At the level of our bodies, those duties will be there, and then those should be performed irrespective of whether we um, uh, whether we like it or not. For example, as if we take that, mother may also be fast asleep in the middle of night, but when baby cries, she will be expected to wake up in the middle of night and take care of her baby. So that way we don't stop performing our duty. We continue to take care of our duties. But as we said, that there are higher and lower duties also. So and those have to be chosen in an intelligent way. One should be intelligent enough to understand which are the higher duties, which are the lower duties, and one should take care of the higher duties first and then take care of the other lower duties. Okay. Sunita Mataji, you can unmute and speak.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, I would like to thank you, Prabhuji, for such a wonderful topic on tolerance. Okay, you have asked the question like, why do we tolerate? First of all, I would like to say, when do we tolerate? We tolerate when we know that at some time we are right and somebody is doing something wrong or disturbing us or yelling or shouting. So always it is said, I have read many things and I have heard from many well-known, knowledgeable people, like those who yell and shout, that only shows their weakness. And if we try to tolerate, we are tolerating for our own peace of mind and for our own personal growth. So tolerance is better. That is, silence is better than yelling and shouting. So I would like to tell that only. Certain things I've forgotten now. Yes. Okay.
Yes, thank you so much, Mataji, for highlighting
Mhm.
and bringing up this point. And that's true. Sometimes not every fight is worth picking.
Yes.
Not, sometimes we shouldn't be wrestling with pigs in the mud.
Right.
Pig become
Very right.
dirty, they enjoy.
Yes.
So
Uh,
yeah, we should know when to
mm. Yes.
where it is unnecessary.
Very, very right. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you so much, Mataji.
Yes.
Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thanks, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Radha Mataji, I can see your hand raised. You can unmute and can you unmute now? Yes, I can see you unmuted. You can speak, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yes, Hare Krishna.
Okay. I'm Devshi actually. So my question was that I am a student, and I'm also occupied as a class monitor in my school. So as per my duty, when I see other students not following the rules or not following their own duty, so it is my duty to report it to the teacher or either the student. So I report it to the student, and if he or she does not listens to me or obey, so then I have to report it to the teacher. But when I report it to the teacher uh, makes me the antagonist there, and then she's like, no, you're wrong, they'll do whatever they want and all. They make me the villain there. And so what should I do at that time? Like, they're stopping me from following my duty.
So if you've reported to the teacher and if she's still unwilling to take action against the student, then you have done your part, and that's what you should be doing anyway, isn't it? So to bring discipline is a collective responsibility. It's, teachers will not be available 24/7, and or throughout the school time. They will come and go, they will have other responsibilities, they will have other classrooms to look at. So it's a collective responsibility. That's why we have a method of a system called monitors or prefect, or some students who oversee other students. And but so if you have done your part of reporting misbehavior, then it's up to the teacher to ultimately to bring discipline in the classroom by taking necessary action against a student who have misbehaved. And that's what you are for, and that's what you have done. If you have done your part, then you can just leave it. You can just leave it at whether it's up to the teacher to whether she wants to act on the information that you have provided, or she does not wish to act. It's up to her completely. So you have not failed in your duty, but she may fail in her duty by not acting. So then if you should be relieved of your obligation of reporting. Okay. Okay. You have one more question, Devshi? Can you unmute?
Yes, Prabhuji.
हाँ बोलो.
I do not have any other questions.
Okay, okay. I'm very happy, Devshi, you're also listening to this session.
Yes.
Okay.
It is actually very helpful, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Devshi. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Latika Mataji, can you unmute? And then Subhash Prabhuji. Latika Mataji, you need to press
हरे
unmute and speak.
कृष्ण
Yes, yes. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि हम सर्टन रूल्स फॉलो करते हैं कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस में कि जैसे हम वेजिटेरियन फूड लेते हैं जिससे हमारा कॉन्शियसनेस अच्छा होता है और जिससे ये फर्क हमें डे टू डे लाइफ में हम नोटिस भी करते हैं। लेकिन जब भी किसी डिवोटी या जो फॉलो कर रहा है ये सारे रूल्स, उनका कभी कुछ ऐसे प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है हेल्थ वाइज, कुछ एक्सीडेंट हो गया या उनको कुछ ऐसी बीमारी हो गई कि जिसके अंदर उनको ब्लड की जरूरत पड़े, तो दैट टाइम वी डोंट आस्क ना कि ये जो ब्लड हमारी बॉडी में जा रहा है वो किसी मतलब वो ये सारे फॉलो करता है कि नहीं करता है और वेजिटेरियन है या नहीं है। समटाइम्स वो नॉन वेजिटेरियन फूड खाने वाले व्यक्ति का भी ब्लड हमें दिया जा सकता है। सेम केस जैसे कि हार्ट ट्रांसप्लांट की टाइम होता है और कृष्णा तो बोलते हैं कि मैं हृदय में स्थित होता हूँ, तो जो भी व्यक्ति का डेथ हुआ होगा तो उसका हार्ट किसी और व्यक्ति के ट्रांसप्लांट किया जाता है, तो वो भी एक नॉन वेजिटेरियन व्यक्ति का हो सकता है। तो इस केस को हम मतलब बॉडीली लेवल पे और स्पिरिचुअल लेवल पे दोनों पे कैसे समझ सकते हैं, मुझे उसके बारे में थोड़ा जानना है।
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. At a blood, at the level of our body, if you think about heart, it's a organ. It's a organ and it's a mechanical part. And so is the case with blood, which is the sum substance. But blood in its state is blood, and similarly, heart is a mechanical part of our body, and the consciousness these are both non-conscious parts. When Krishna gives the order in the Bhagavad Gita that the third chapter, 42nd verse, Krishna gives the order that working senses are superior to dead matter. Working senses are superior to dead matter, and mind is superior to those working senses, and intelligence is superior to mind, and soul is the highest. Okay, so so this bodily parts that we mechanical bodily parts that we may refer to are dead matters. They are not conscious, which means if they are fitted in one body, if they are able to function, and if you remove them and fit them into another body, if they are able to function, it's as good as removing one wooden part from one table and attaching it to another table. As long as it's performing the same function of balancing the table, it's okay, because that is not determining your consciousness. Your consciousness is determined. The sitting places of lust is also the senses, the mind, and the intelligence. So dead matter is excluded from all of that. It's excluded. So the even the lust is not present in those dead in the dead matter. So they possess nothing. They are just there. They're just there to help the rest of the body function in a synchronized way. So beyond that, they do not have any significance. You cannot get other person's mind. You cannot get other person's mind. The senses, one of the sitting places of senses is lust. Is also one of the sitting places of lust is also considered to be senses, working senses. So senses can be a problem. Can be a problem if one person whose eyes are used to see pornography, and if you happen to take eyes from that person, could that lead to you developing a similar desire? Maybe yes, maybe no. Even if such desires come, because that eyes have been always seeing that, have been exposed to those things only, and that person has died and you have got those eyes, The not it's again the eye is also the vision is a subtle part of it, and the mechanical part of it is the physical eye that has come across to us. Now the vision, the senses are superior to the dead matter in the way that they also have some subtle powers. Now those subtle powers are bestowed by Krishna. The rest of the eye is a machine, is a mechanical part, just like leg of a table. And that conscious part is what remains with the person. It may not come to us. Similarly, we may take somebody's heart, but his consciousness will not come to us because that is separate from the mechanical heart. So even if heart transplant happens, even if a demoniac person's heart is given to a devotee, it will still function in a normal way because the consciousness has remained with that demoniac person. That person would have taken his consciousness along with his soul, mind, intelligence, and consciousness would have traveled to another body. So it's not left in the machine, the bodily machine that we are now utilizing. So we need not overly worry about these aspects because they will remain with the soul. All these attachments and these vasanas, they remain with the soul and they travel with the soul also. So one should not really be overly worried about dead matters being transferred from one body to another. If it is helpful, so be it, and that will not really that will not spoil your consciousness, even if it has come from a wrong kind of a person. And it may not happen the other way around also. If a devotee's heart is given to a non-devotee, he suddenly may not wake up and start chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That also will not happen. Okay. Yes, Subhash Prabhuji, you can unmute.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I just wanted to understand the subtle difference between the acceptance and the toleration. See, toleration is at one level, then acceptance is another level. So can you please elaborate on that? Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Raji, for a wonderful question. So when we get into a life situation, we have two choices. One, we can resent and we can accept. Now these two are opposite reactions. If suppose we are going for a yatra and 1 week before yatra I may fall sick. I fall sick and it may become uncertain that I may not be able to travel and attend a yatra with the devotees, and I may feel very miserable about it. Why me? Why me? It's a question a lot of time comes to our heart that amongst hundreds of devotees are going and only I'm the one who is actually leading this yatra. I'm planning for this yatra. I wanted to go for such a long time to this yatra, and 1 week before, why should I fall sick? When everyone else is going to go, I am going to remain at home. Why me? Now, that question often comes to our mind, and so this is where the either we can keep fighting with the question or we accept the situation. Fine, whatever has happened has happened. Let me see what best I can do to recover in the rest of the 1 week so that at least I can go for the yatra. But if we keep fighting with resentment about why am I the victim here? Why am I suffering here? Why I have to fall sick? Why me? If our energies get too much caught up in fighting this question why, then we are not yet accepted the situation, and we are not and unless we accept the situation, we are not able to redirect our energies towards solving the problem. which means a lot of our energy will get sucked in fighting this inner battle with my own mind. And when it will come to the solutioning, I will be weak. I'll be exhausted. So at times we see, and a lot of times this happens in life, that for practically no fault of ours, we get blamed, or we suffer a setback. For practically when, as I said, when you see that you're eating chocolates and when you fall, develop toothache, you see cause and effect both. But many times we see effect, we don't see immediate cause. And then those are the times when it becomes extremely important for us to accept the situation in the first place. Whatever, I may not know the reason, whatever, for no fault of me, I'm supposed to be getting victimized over here. Now, it's not a very comfortable position to be in, but I will accept the situation. I'll accept the situation. Then I can think of how I can mitigate the situation in the best possible way. There will always be something that we can do in every situation. There will always be something that we can do in every situation. And we can redirect our energies towards doing those things if we have accepted the situation. If we keep fighting with the situation, we will never come to a point where we will think of the solutioning part of that situation, how we can come out of that situation. So if we accept the situation, the next question then that can come to our mind is how I can mitigate the situation, what best I can do in this situation. And that can give me a way out. That can give me a way out where I can improve whatever I can, and rest I will anyway have to tolerate. But at least I will be satisfied that I have done my part. And that stage can come only when we accept the situation. If we keep fighting with the situation, we get sucked up in that battle itself. Okay, Prabhuji. So Vikas Ji, can you can you check, see if we have some questions, common questions, key personal questions on the chat box, in the chat box.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. One was the personal question from one Mataji who is not right now there,
Okay.
Deepti Goswami Mataji, and one question was another. I'll just check Prabhuji.
Sure. Correct. Thank you so much, Raji.
One was from Madhu Mataji. It was general question, Prabhuji. Do we need to take bath before japa in the morning?
Yeah. It is advisable. And I mean, you yourself will feel the difference. If you take bath and sit down for japa, you will be very energetic. You will be your japa will be much better. You'll feel very nice, and the otherwise you'll feel very sleepy if you sit down for japa. But Mahaprabhu is mercifully says that there is no rules and regulations, but we need to create our own standards and our own regulations so that our quality improves, our standards improves. Just like we feel hungry, we don't eat anything and everything. We say we have some standards. We eat only vegetarian, we eat only food that is offerable to Krishna. We offer it to Krishna and we eat. Like that, we set some standards. So similarly, we can have our own personal standards as far as japa is concerned, as far as devotional service is concerned. And one such condition we can give ourselves is of taking bath in the morning. If it's too difficult, but as I said, there's no rules. You can do very effective japa without bath also. And after taking bath also, one may feel sleepy. I'll not be surprised if we can have both kind of experiences. But nevertheless, it's up to us. If we can take bath, it's nice. But if it's too difficult, you can still do japa. doing japa wholeheartedly, attentively is more important. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. One more Mataji actually raised hand there, but she is not there right now.
Okay.
And another question was actually from Deepthi Goswami Mataji, only that she is a gynecologist and she was trying to ask that abortions, often people come for abortion to them. So whether that should be performed or means in the medical course, she is writing that that is taught that we should not do that, but what should be that makes them dilemmic that whether to do it or not. Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes. Take so abortion for saving mother's life, only that stage, for the purpose of saving mother's life can be permitted, but otherwise even medical does not really encourage, a medical field itself does encourage abortion, and spiritually it's murdering, so it's equal to murder, so it's extremely sinful. Yes, that's true, unfortunately. And as a gynecologist, she has to go through such a request, which she keep refusing. Fortunately, because she's a devotee, that's her greatness. But unfortunate part is, this becoming very common amongst this common. It's becoming a very common demand amongst the youth of today. That need for abortion, a right to abortion. That's very unfortunate, but. Yes. So let's conclude.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Yeah.
Prabhuji.
Thank you very much for those questions. Answer to those questions, Prabhuji. Actually, I was trying to ask one this one as you mentioned when the topic was also tolerance, and in response to one question, and earlier also we discussed that acceptance, mitigation, and tolerance, that is the formula to tolerate. And we at time on individual level frame certain kind of questions so that we can ask in every situation, and we can stay put on the path that means those situation doesn't actually pull us down. So ultimately it may so happen that our mind is giving us some kind of suggestions and we are trying to follow, and that may not be correct, and we try to discuss it with devotees. But as we hear from the senior devotees like that, how do they manage to be tolerant? What is their realization? Then it can be of extreme means that can be of extreme guiding factor for us, at how we also can apply in our life and can ultimately be beneficial, can come out of these situations with tolerating wherever it is required to be tolerated. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, I think talking to devotees definitely help. And as we all are individuals, we can have different strengths and different weaknesses. Some can be very tolerant in one particular situation, but some other provocation may make them weak, and it could be different for somebody else. So that's why by practicing devotional service in a group, together we can learn from each other, and that happens. We all can have some weakness somewhere where if we get provoked in that direction, we may actually we may end up breaking the regulative principle, or we may succumb to the temptation. And that those weaknesses can be different amongst different devotees. So by learning from each other, we try to work on our own weakness while maintaining our own position of strength. And that's why it's an ongoing battle with Maya. It's an ongoing battle. It's not no point in time where we will claim victory that, yeah, I've completely defeated Maya, I'm not affected by Maya anymore. That will never be the case. So it's a continuous effort, and definitely devotee association help in this effort.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Subhash Prabhuji, you have any other question? I think you see your hand raised. No, yeah, he's not there. So thank you everyone for joining. We'll continue with our journey of Bhagavad Gita in the coming sessions. Very beautiful verses coming up in the coming section of Bhagavad Gita. That's 2.37, 2.39, 40, 41, 42. All are wonderful verses. So let's please keep joining these sessions. We'll try to learn from each of these verses, and as we go along, and we'll try to relate it with our life, make it as practical as possible, so that we can understand and draw more learning out of Bhagavad Gita for our own benefit. Thank you, everyone. Have a great Krishna conscious week ahead. Join Japa every day, join reading sessions every day, and remember Krishna every day, every moment. Thank you so much. Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna to everyone.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.